Live from downtown Denver on the corner of Colfax and York above the DNVR Bar. Welcome to a special Denver NWSL edition of the DNVR Rapids podcast from the Toyota Lounge. We are driven by your Front Range Toyota stores. Toyota, the official vehicle of DNVR. I'm joined by my man, downtown Dwayne Brown, a regular here. And super producer Yaya's here off stage. We've got super producer Tiff producing. But let's not bury the lead. We have some phenomenal guests. The two new leaders of the Denver NWSL project. We are so proud and grateful to have these guys in. New president, Jen Millet.
Hey, everybody.
Millet,
you got it.
Damn it, Jen.
So close.
You prepped me so good. And new general manager, Curt Johnson. You guys, how are you doing? Thank you so much for being here.
Fantastic.
I'm good. I survived the 100-degree heat this weekend. What's going on out here?
Was it ever 100 before you moved away, Jen?
No.
No.
I mean, that's not true, actually. It probably was like
Jen.
a couple times, but not in June. It was usually
It's
like
early.
a July kind of like heat wave that came through. But
Yeah, this cool air to this week has been
Yeah.
a godsend.
Yes,
It was one
agreed.
of my first weekends. I thought it was 100 all the
Nope.
time.
Yeah.
No.
But Kurt's
No.
from a place that has high humidity, so he was like, this is fine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's where I'm
really
from,
nice.
Southeast Virginia, so
Yeah.
I know your misery.
Oh,
Yeah,
where,
yeah.
where you're
Yeah.
coming from.
It's different. It's a different level
Yes.
of heat.
It's different.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, we are so excited about this new NWSL team. We're so excited about the little snippets we've gotten so far of how this whole project is coming along. And it would appear we're not the only ones excited because we've got like 200 some odd fans coming to the DNVR Bar today to talk to you guys. So thank you for your precious time
You have a back door?
before that
Okay.
all happened.
We'll sneak you
That's
out.
exactly right. But, you know, we're excited. The fans are excited. What's got you excited? What had you believing in this project, the city, this league, this
Yeah.
ownership group that made you invest?
Yeah.
I mean, in these high-end positions, I imagine it's all day, every day right now, this commitment you've
It
made.
is. Yeah, I mean, I think they're just all, if you were going to create a Venn diagram of how to build a successful sports franchise and expansion team, I think Denver and this ownership group have all of the things that you would want. So you have an ownership group that's incredibly ambitious in, you know, the investment they want to make and the belief that they have
Yeah.
in this club. You know, just the facilities piece alone to come out of the gate strong and say, not only are we going to launch an expansion team, we're going to build a training facility, we're going to build a temp stadium, we're going to build a permanent stadium, and we're announcing it now, and we're starting work on all of it now. So there's a true belief there that, you know, that this club will be successful, but also that I think for Rob Cohen in particular, an investment back into this market. Like, he believes that Denver deserves a professional women's sports team. He believes he can create a profitable, successful one. And so he's showing that, right, by the moves he's making. And then the other big piece for me was just, from Denver, I understand how much Denver loves its sports teams. I anticipated that, you know, even just in the conversations with Rob and the ownership group, that he already saw early indicators of fan excitement. But when I met with him and understood just the influx of people that are just signing up for deposits for these tickets, it's incredible. And that we're going to have 200 people here today. Just the excitement of the market and knowing how much fans are already embracing the club. We don't have a name yet. And people are ready. And so that piece is just amazing. The community that has already showed up for the club. And then women's sports, NWSL in general, right? This is a league on the rise. I come from an expansion team in the Bay Area.
Right.
and seeing the impact that a club can have on a market, that a women's team can have on a market. And that's not just for, boys or not just for girls in the market, I should say. Like, matches for NWSL, women's sports are for everyone. These are premier athletes competing at the highest level in an experience that we're investing in to make fun and exciting. And, just those were all the things that I knew could happen here, and that's why I'm here.
That just echoes so many of our thoughts on what this can be as a soccer market, right? Yeah. And we've seen it in bits and pieces. I mean, this used to be a soccer bar. We sold out, World Cup watch parties. We were turning people away at the door because there was so much excitement. Yeah. So it's great to have those indicators and start to get excited. Curt, you as a GM are a 2-time NWSL champion already. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You left that situation and you're here. Mm-hmm. You must have some strong belief as well. So, I mean, I just, all we want to do is found out about you guys and about this new franchise. So tell me a bit, what made you make this commitment?
Well, I think all of what Jen articulated very clearly and very well. In addition, the incredible soccer history here in Denver, I think this is a reward for all of the work that's put in. Youth soccer, college soccer, the Rapids. Yeah. The player pool. We could start a starting 11 with just Denver and Colorado.
We sure could,
if you will.
Yeah.
And there's a reason for that, because there's been a great soccer culture in place for many, many decades, and I see this as a reward for all of the hard work that so many people, coaches, volunteers, administrators, and the list goes on, that have grown the game over many decades. I'm excited about being a part of the community, the soccer community, and putting a great product out on the field that they're all proud of.
What a great way to put it, Dwayne. I mean, you're one of the biggest advocates of this. You're telling us about the youth level all the time. Like, it's right there, right?
Yeah.
Waiting to bubble up at the surface.
We've got 200 people, probably more. There's not even a game tonight.
Yeah.
We're just hanging out to talk about women's soccer.
Yeah, we don't have a name.
That's awesome. I don't know what more you could want, in a community for a team that exists, not even in name yet. Yeah. I mean, sort of a temporary name. But it's great. I mean, and now it's like moves are being made. We've seen the renderings for the downtown stadium. We've seen the renderings for the training facilities, the groundbreaking just a couple weeks ago. The two of you are on board now. What's next? What is the next thing for hiring? What positions are you now in the battle trying to field? What are the next steps that are coming?
Yeah, I mean, hiring's a big piece. Luckily, I'm sure a lot of people are frustrated because they're like, hey, why aren't we seeing roles, or how do we apply? Because we've gotten so much inbound that we have files that we are going through and navigating. But I think some of the senior level staff, like a general counsel, CFO, head of ticketing, head of sponsorship. So we're kind of doing a tops down a little bit, but there are some roles also that we want to make sure we get a social person in place. We want to make sure we get a community impact person in place. So we're kind of prioritizing key roles on the business side throughout the organization. So that's a big piece of what we're doing. I think, brand launch, which I know we were joking that Denver NWSL just rolls off the tongue, right? So we're excited. In the next couple weeks, you'll probably see timing of an announcement for brand launch, which will be so great. I love what has been created for Denver NWSL, but I'm very excited to see our brand come into the market and share that with fans. So that's coming up. And then honestly, it's going to move quickly. We are right now still, working through and collecting deposits. People are raising their hands saying they want to be part of a season ticket member group. So we'll continue to cultivate that and, really look to start converting deposits probably starting in October or early November and get people, super excited. Schedule release, which in NWSL can be a little frustrating because unlike us, in our future state, most clubs don't own their own venue. So we've got to work through some timing with MLS and even NFL in some cases. But, the 26th season is going to, not to make Curt nervous or myself, it's going to be here soon.
Yeah.
And Curt's got a lot of stuff, big moves. He's got to hire players technically.
Yeah, and that's how so you make kind of a joke about it. How insane is this normal?
No, and Rob,
because it seems like March is soon.
Yeah.
Like March is really coming up.
Yeah.
And there's a lot to be done. And so obviously I've never started a professional franchise. So I was thinking how normal is this or is what we're doing here just bananas?
Rob Cohen even says this is nuts.
Okay.
So the part that makes it ultra nuts is, so I came from Bay FC, the club in the Bay Area, and we were on about the same timing. So from announce to you're kicking a soccer ball. So we did it. We did it well. We made playoffs in the first year, had successful business outcomes, but we weren't also building a training facility and a stadium at the same time.
Yeah.
So that just adds an extra layer of insanity to, I think, the timelines and how quickly we need to do things, and knowing that we have standards that we want to meet and exceed them. And so I think it's pretty crazy. People ask me why would you just got to a year two, a kickback, all the big stuff's done, why would you do this again? And I don't really have a good answer, except that I sort of say when people say, oh, I'm going to have 2 kids in close succession, because if you get too far away from some of the stages, you'll never want to go back.
Oh, phenomenal analogy.
And I think that is what I am currently living. So that's my reason
Fun.
for stepping into the madness.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's kind of the craziness that's going on right now. It's you guys are in place, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But everything else very much coming into play already. So what are you working on, Curt?
Well, I was a part of the relocation of the Western New York Flash to North Carolina. And we did that in about a month or a month and a half.
Whoa.
Now they had
a
roster in a Flash.
Yeah.
They had a roster, a good roster, but we did a lot in a month and a half that was an incredibly quick timeline. Okay, so in some ways, you try to look at the positive. This is
forget it, guys. I did the last one in a month.
But there's a lot more to be done here as well. And top of the list is certainly our head coach search.
Yes,
as well on a parallel path. Free agency for NWSL players starts July 1st. So those are 2 big topics that we're working at. And a variety of other leadership positions, from technical director. We do have an assistant GM, head of medical and performance, as well as team operations and player experience. So those will be 5 leaders, and beneath those we'll have the rest of the 25 or so sporting staff employees. Yeah. So 25 plus 26,
incredible.
50 or so need to be done.
Yeah.
It's like talking to founders of a business who are running a startup.
It is like that.
It's
very much
it's great. So I can feel the excitement and how new and exciting it is, and it's also oof, geez, those guys have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, I mean, we were joking when I might be ahead of Curt by a week, but there's certain things we got to get a bank account. We ran payroll 2 weeks ago. We've got to set up HCS to pay bills out of that, certain everything. We've got a head of a VP of HR who just started, which is great.
Awesome.
For onboarding, stuff like that. But actually, the one thing that I think people would be curious about too, not to take your jobs, but this is the first year in NWSL where there's no draft.
Yeah.
And so Kurt's got to go build a roster. Free agency.
Yeah. So no expansion draft, no college draft.
Yes.
Which have been the traditional mechanisms to build your expansion team. The good news is we have the ability to have a lot more allocation money than other teams. A little over $500,000 funded by the league as a part of expansion, and we'll match that and spend to the highest level of allocation money that we can. And why allocation money is valuable is that it can be used in a lot of different ways to secure trades, to buy down the salary cap. So in essence, spend above the salary cap, and you can buy down with allocation money. So lots of different. It's a malleable kind of tool to help build your roster as well. We'll be spending to the limits of the transfer market and transfer money specifically. So that's all that's all allotted for this year, next year, 2027 as well. So those will be the tools that we'll use to build through free agency, through trades, through transfers of international players and NWSL players.
Oh, I love it so much. She is trying to take our job because she took a question from our thing, and she actually can pronounce her last name correctly.
It was a great question.
We're 2 for 2. It was a great question. It was a great question.
Yeah. So Curt, how are you going to do this without drafts?
We're going to humble Jen real quick, and I'm going to do a quick ad read, which she doesn't have.
That's
exactly right. That's exactly right. So, quick little Toyota read, and we'll be right back to get into the weeds on this stuff more. Toyota. Trucks have always been a part of Toyota's DNA. Trucks, SUVs, it's what makes them the perfect Colorado car, the perfect car to get lost into the mountains. Go west, young man or woman. Just explore the western slopes, as my guy Justin Michael says. He never tells me where he is on the western slopes.
It's a secret.
Just says the western slope. I hate that. Sounds like such a tourist. Like, tell me where you're at. You say I'm in Buena Vista, it's a lot less. But in a Toyota, get lost in Buena Vista. Such a great car. Everyone at DNVR that has a Toyota swears by it. Their customer service, the reliability of their cars, they're just tremendous. So many environmentally friendly vehicles as well. Visit your Front Range Toyota stores at a location near you. AutoNation Toyota, Arapahoe and Centennial, Corwin Toyota in Boulder, Groove Toyota in Littleton, Mountain States Toyota in Denver, Stevenson Toyota East in Aurora, Stevenson Toyota West in Lakewood. That's the INI's hood. Toyota is a proud partner of the Colorado Rapids and the official vehicle of DNVR. Toyota, let's go places. And also a shout out to our friends at Bet365. Boy, they just had the most amazing promotion, but it's never ordinary at Bet365. NBA playoffs are over. I'm already in on some NBA draft props. And right now, you sign up, you use our code DNVR365 at sign up. Minimum deposit $10, minimum bet $5. And as soon as that's settled, win, lose, or draw. So, bet on the Rapids this Wednesday, right? Let's get that out the way. Not some future on like Denver NWSL to win the championship in 2026. And then you get $150 in bonus bets. Boom, boom. So great partner, great betting app. The only place I go to, QR code right there, code in the description, link in the description. Must be 21 plus, physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. I leave it to you, Dwayne. I've talked too much. I rattled off too many questions.
You've done it well. Not as well
Thanks,
as Jen,
buddy.
but pretty well.
Yeah, no,
pretty well. Above average.
Keep working at it.
Yeah. I agree. I agree. It's a great assessment.
So you mentioned this, Curt. You're kind of in that weird spot. Players are available in like a week. You're looking for a coach. It's a brand new team, brand new voice, brand new tone. What are some of the things that you're looking for that go into that hiring process for a coach? What makes the right coach for a Denver NWSL team?
Well, first of all, the head coach has got to see this as more than your traditional head coaching job. This is a project. He or she will have the ability to build culture, help build facilities, build the team, impact the soccer community. So it's bigger than a traditional head coaching role. And that person needs to see that and ideally have done it in the past. We've got a lot of builders out there of the game that have a lot of different professional, background. And coaches certainly have been a key part of that at all levels of our game throughout the country. for many decades. So a builder, I think as well, winning experience, somebody that has coached at a high level, developed players, and is a proven winner. And an understanding of NWSL as well as the rich history of players in particular in Denver and Colorado.
Yeah. Ugh. I'm sorry, guys, but your inbox is going to get more flooded with people wanting to get hired. I mean, everything you say is just so exciting. Jen, I was going to ask you the Colorado native question. Yeah. Then you again, you're trying to take my job. So you talked about all those points as well. So a more tricky question.
Yeah.
The biz side.
Yeah.
The Colorado native side. Yeah. How much are you popping into Curt's office and saying like, hey, we need a couple local stars.
Yeah.
There's enough to pick from.
Yeah.
Like, get us a star. I mean, how much of an emphasis should that be?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. I mean, I think I don't even need to nudge Curt on it because, as he said, there's so much talent from Colorado, and we would love to have homegrown Colorado talent on the club. We are in a position we get guidance from the league constantly, like, hey, can't talk about players tampering.
Yes.
So you will not hear us, even in theory, talk about players.
She's too good.
We will not name names, but let's just say we are very excited. Curt is very excited about the talent that exists in the state. And I am very excited on the commercial side to sell a lot of jerseys that have those names on the back of them, and what an amazing full circle experience that will be to have this team really have these homegrown players, superstar players on that roster when we take the pitch in March. So
some would say there's a veritable heap of Colorado.
Well, hey, no one's tampering today, Dwayne. The devil on our shoulders telling us to tamper. Jen saying, not today, devil.
I don't think you can get in trouble for that.
I can't get in trouble.
Just blink, Curt.
Kurtz, this is a weird one, but I was thinking of your background, and then it just clicked for me. I wonder how much of a similarity you see between your experience in North Carolina, and North Carolina has the Tar Heels, right? Like, there's no better women's program. I think I was looking up before the show, 24 of the last 36 natties were won. And, I think North Carolina, I think Michael Jordan and Mia Hamm, right? Like, they're just... Yeah. And so you had that connection, and now you're in a market where, like, some of the best players in the globe are from our state. And on top of that, the preps, like the top 30 women in the state, they all have D1 offers. I was looking through recruiting rankings for the next 4 classes. Colorado has someone in the top 20 in all of the next 4 classes. And I think the second best recruit in the country next year, he was going to UCLA. Did you see that connection going into this job? And how much do you think that could become an advantage in tapping into that?
I do think there's a connection. And I think one of the things that happened when the Courage were founded in 2017, after relocating the Western New York Flash, is all of the players that you just talked about advocated for themselves to come to North Carolina. And you saw our team be very successful 2017, 18, 19, et cetera. And that certainly was a big part of the nucleus. And we have the same thing happening here, is players advocating, wanting to get home, wanting to play for their hometown team. And that can be one of the driving forces for us to be really successful. Now, we got to put it into on the field. We've got to, create the culture, integrate the head coach, all those different types of things. But I think there is a big similarity in people wanting to come home, people wanting to come here and advocating for themselves. The players have more power than ever in our league, and that's a good thing if you're sitting in my seat.
Well, and I think it also that's attractive to world-class athletes. And that's how most of the number 1 leagues in the world operate, right?
Yeah.
See, Jen, that was a good, I did my research there. That was a good one, huh?
You nailed it. But I would also say the things that are attractive, which you talked about, are investment in the facility pieces, right? For too long, female athletes have been in the men's team is done with this training center, go ahead and have it. Or hey, we scheduled you guys at the 24-hour fitness to do a lift, and that we are a club that is saying, no, you're a premier athlete, and we will treat you as such, and you'll have training facilities that meet beyond the standards, and same with the stadium, right? You will have a home. You won't be a tenant in this place. This will be where your fans gather for generations, and I think that's really appealing to players as well.
Yeah,
how strong?
Just one more point to build off of that is we see this as being the best place for a women's soccer player to play in the world. Every box is going to be checked here. And, from a facility standpoint, from a day-to-day training standpoint, from a health and nutrition standpoint, individual player development standpoint, this beautiful city, all the boxes are checked, and that ultimately is what's going to attract the best of the best.
And kind of related to that, I mean, you two have worked with bringing professional athletes into NWSL clubs. We're in the middle of the country.
Yeah.
There is such a thing as coast bias, whether it's West Coast or East Coast bias. How much of that desirability of these state-of-the-art facilities that the club is building, how effective do you think that's going to be to kind of get over that? Well, do I want to choose Denver or do I want to choose Los Angeles or New York City or something like that?
Yeah.
Clearly, that's part of the sell of coming to Denver.
Yeah.
People, your natives already know. Jen came back. There's other players who are going to be like, I want to go play in Denver because I know it's not gross and humid.
The
So,
humidity will be big. I mean, Curt can speak to it too, but I think Denver's an incredibly desirable market for anybody, soccer player or, just a business person. But I would say the facilities piece comes into play, but I would also just consider that on an NWSL roster, there are players on that roster who are making the minimum salary, which is close to, I think, like $48,000 a year, right? And you try and live in New York at $48,000. You try and live in, the Bay Area or LA. And again, clubs, there's certain mechanisms for like housing stipends, things like that. But, the cost of living piece on the coast is really, I think, a deterrent for a lot of players. And so I think even folks that aren't from here, that don't know how great it is here, when they get here or when they visit, they're going to be like, wow, this is amazing, And so I think, again, to Curt's point, checking all the boxes, I think Denver's a home run, I think, for players from that perspective.
Awesome. Sure. I can't believe it's 5:30 already, but I will be kicking myself if I don't ask this. Curt, with no draft, how much of an emphasis does still building, a youthful team, a team that can kind of grow with this expansion team, is that a point of emphasis, or do you almost feel like I can pick and choose? I've got this ambitious ownership group. My priority is more winning now, winning next year, and beyond. And we will pick and choose with youth, but we don't have constraints to build a youth movement with this franchise.
Well, look, I think the priority is to be competitive and successful right away, right? With that said, there's no way that you would do it or I would do it of mortgaging everything for success in March of 2026. I mean, it's absolutely building a team that right away can be competitive, successful, and compete, with the best teams in 2026, while at the same time making sure that we have players that can continue to develop and push for starting roles. So veterans, players that are in their prime and are role players and really good role players in NWSL, world-class players, and absolutely young talent that's going to push the group from day one.
One of the one of the things, no draft. There's another new thing with NWSL is interleague loans. So clubs can loan to each other now. How much is that going to be a factor to new clubs like Denver or Boston that are trying? They don't have the pieces in already. Every piece is a new piece.
Isn't that crazy? Doesn't that seem weird? That
it is weird.
Loan, like, imagine like the Warriors are like, oh, we're just going to loan so-and-so, to the Nuggets for like a year. I don't know. It's just soccer is bizarre.
It's very soccer.
The loans are fun.
To be seen. I'm watching that like we all are. with, okay, it's a tool, but, when there are haves and have-nots, you look at the Premier League, or you look at a lot of the leagues in the world, the WSL, okay, you can clearly see that one team may be overstocked and loaned to a team that is under, has not enough talent. That's not a common issue in NWSL. There's such parity of talent.
Right.
Yes, of course, some teams have more talent than others, but I don't see how it happens in practice, and I'll be watching it closely like you guys.
Incredible. Thank you so much for your time. Before we sign off, I tell you, is there anything we should plug? Ways people can support, get involved, buy tickets? I mean,
so deposits are still active. I would encourage folks, please if you're interested in becoming a season ticket member or just learning more about ticketing offerings, go to DenverNWSL.com, follow the link, put a deposit down. I would say look for news around a brand launch and in the coming weeks. And once it launches, we will have merch, like real merch.
Let's go.
Awesome.
So you'll be able to purchase for a while online, but there will be some events where people can show up and buy stuff. And then last is, we're very active right now in the sponsorship partnership community. And that I should have mentioned as a next step. We already are talking to a lot of brands, again, about being a part of what we're building. And so that is super exciting too. So if folks out there are like, oh my gosh, I want to get involved in my business. I want to get my business
I know
involved.
We've had questions. Our sales team has had questions. Yeah.
So like sending them probably to me, which I won't give my email on this because, but it's just, everything is super active right now. We're firing on all cylinders. It's really exciting. It's really exhausting. But we're, excited to be here and get this club off the ground.
Yeah.
Godspeed, you guys. We're rooting for your success. Keep up the great work. Hope to have you on when we get closer to the season. Kurt, we're expecting some headline signings July 1st. Okay, we're on the clock
I'm going to do my best to deliver.
No, in all seriousness, thank you so much for your time and best of luck with everything.
Thanks, you guys.
Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you again soon.
We all silly like the mayor.